Throughout the Jurassic franchise, we have seen three incredibly powerful and dangerous dinosaurs, these being the Scorpius rex, Indoraptor, and Indominus rex, the hybrids. But which of these was the most deadly? Well, we're going to be finding out. And no, we're not talking about which one would win in a fight, because, while the Indoraptor and Scorpius rex are powerful, the Indominus rex's size alone would almost easily give it a 100% chance of victory. We will be ranking them on 5 categories: size and strength, speed and agility, intelligence, kill count, and abilities. Starting off with size and strength, the Indominus rex easily wins this category, being 43 feet long, which is significantly longer than the Scorpius rex and Indoraptor. The Scorpius rex is only 26 feet long, 12 feet tall, and only weighs 1.2 tons, while the Indoraptor is even smaller, weighing 1 ton, being 23 feet long and 10 feet tall, which is almost nothing compared to the Indominus rex's 8 tons. Now let's talk about speed and agility. When it comes to speed, the Indominus rex can run around 30 miles per hour, which, interestingly enough, the Scorpius rex also runs around that speed, and again, the Indoraptor also runs at around that speed. So now let's talk about agility. The Indoraptor was pretty agile considering it was the smallest of the bunch. However, the Indominus rex was able to throw off the smaller velociraptors, but the Indoraptor's size definitely gives it an edge here. When it comes to intelligence, there's no doubt that this is where the Scorpius rex falls short, considering that it was so easily distracted by fire and explosions. This isn't to say that the Scorpius rex wasn't intelligent, considering it was able to get a kick out of seeing the kids get scared in Camp Cretaceous. However, the Indoraptor and Indominus were much more intelligent. But between these two, which one was smarter? Well, the Indoraptor was meant to be a controlled predator, focusing on the laser pointer, and didn't show many feats of intelligence. However, the Indominus rex, on the other hand, showed many. These range from something like detecting weak points, which the Indominus rex did when it realized the Ankylosaurus was hard on top, so she decided to flip it over to get to the bottom. The Indominus rex was also able to figure out that humans with guns would be hard to fight, so she was able to get the velociraptors to join her side and help defeat the humans. Overall, for intelligence, the Indominus rex takes the edge. However, now let's look at aggression and kill count. When it comes to straight-up aggression, there's no doubt that all of these hybrids have a decent shot at winning this category. While it may seem like the Indominus rex is the obvious pick due to its extreme hostile aggression towards pretty much everything it sees, she is incredibly intelligent and knows when to back down from a fight if she isn't going to win. This is proved by the fact that she was able to get the raptors to help her take out the humans. And then when it comes to the Indoraptor, there is no doubt that it is extremely aggressive, killing people upon escaping. However, there's also the fact that it is meant to be controlled by a laser, which definitely brings down its overall aggression considering it's specifically aggressive to what has the laser pointer on it. And this leaves us the Scorpius rex, which basically, like the Indominus, attacked everything it saw, except it probably would almost never back down from a fight. And it literally attacked its offspring, so yeah, I think it's pretty easy to give aggression to the Scorpius. Moving into kill count and starting off with the Indominus rex, during its rampage, it killed a herd of 6 Apatosauruses, killing 5 and leaving the other to die. It also killed an Ankylosaurus in the movie Jurassic World, along with several of the raptors, and it killed at least a dozen humans in the movie. Meanwhile, the Indoraptor only seems to kill at least 4 people on camera, so we don't really know how many creatures it killed. The Scorpius, on the other hand, killed an entire herd of bioluminescent dinosaurs along with a Brachiosaurus and a Gallimimus. However, when it comes to humans, there's no evidence of it killing any humans, despite some close calls. Because of this, the Indominus rex has more kills, so let's move on to abilities. Starting off with the Indoraptor, it's not very clear what abilities it has, however, it's very easy to assume that it probably has some abilities from the Indominus rex, considering that was one of its gene donors. The Indoraptor is also incredibly smart and may even have echolocation. However, this has not yet been proven. Moving on to the Scorpius rex, it is essentially able to duplicate itself. However, this isn't necessarily a good thing because it fights its duplicate. However, it also has venomous quills. Now let's take a look at the Indominus Rex. It had camouflage, advanced speed, agility, and strength, and a boosted intelligence. However, it was also extremely resistant, being able to withstand gunfire similar to the Indoraptor. Because of all of this, the Indominus Rex will take the edge. Now sure, the Indoraptor likely does have a lot of the abilities the Indominus had, however, we never actually get to see them, and also the Scorpius Rex's venomous quills take absolutely forever to have the venom work. And finally, this leads us to the conclusion that the Indominus Rex is the deadliest hybrid. Now, it could depend on how big you are, since I don't think the Indoraptor would be able to bring down an Apatosaurus like the Indominus did. However, the Indominus Rex is also good at killing humans, which easily gives it an advantage here. So the Indominus Rex is ultimately the deadliest hybrid.